Welcome to my channel where we cover the lore of video games. We cover all kinds from the mainstream to the indie, so I hope you enjoy your stay, and welcome to the Chronicler of Lore. Final Fantasy XIV is a big game filled with original characters, lore, and so on, but by now I'm pretty sure I don't have to tell you all of that. Most MMOs that last for a while end up building their own massive, unique worlds. But with a franchise as big as Final Fantasy, they have way more content to draw on for inspiration than a lot of other games do. This became way more obvious in Endwalker with all of the different things that were pulled directly from Final Fantasy IV, like the Archfiends and such. But it's been a pretty common theme in the game long before that, and a lot of the references were just as obvious as the ones that we're getting now. But that's only the case if you're someone who's played a lot of the older games. Me personally, I've been playing Final Fantasy since my age was in single digits, and even back then I was super interested in the lore of those worlds, so I locked a lot of stuff from those games into my memory. So when I see something pop up in 14, if it's from one of the older titles that I liked, I tend to catch the reference immediately. And I figured most of you did too until I realized something important. The majority of my audience wasn't even alive when a lot of these titles came out. Final Fantasy VIII came out in 1999, which means if you're in your early 20s, you were drooling and playing with your toes when that game first released, which honestly just makes me feel really old. But me drawing closer to senior citizen status is not the point of this video. The point is there are a lot of references to other Final Fantasy games in 14, and we're about to talk about some. Now normally I do this in some type of list, ranking them and whatnot, but the way the references make people feel is so subjective that I don't think it'll do them justice to make a list out of them. So instead we're just going to talk about a few of them and where they came from, and we're going to start with the game that was referenced the most in Shadowbringers. Now a lot of people think that it's Final Fantasy VIII because Thancred stole Cypher's entire outfit and they added the Gunbreaker job. Then there was all of the Final Fantasy VIII music that they used for Eden and a few other things, but that wasn't the game that was referenced the most during that expansion. It was actually Final Fantasy IX. Now for you to understand why I said this, you'll have to know the story of Final Fantasy IX. So I'll explain it to you and then you can tell me if you see how Shadowbringers drew from it. Final Fantasy IX starts off following Zidane, a dagger-wielding, charming, womanizing rogue who breaks into this castle to kidnap the Princess Garnet from Queen Braun, the deranged ruler of the prosperous city Alexandria. The city has a powerful army, is always throwing parties, and typically thinks it's superior to the rest of the world. Her advisors are two clowns named Zorn and Thorn, who are meant to keep an eye on Garnet, as well as to draw out and make use of her very unique powers that she was born with. Zidane takes her away from all of that and teaches her how to interact with other people out in the real world, as well as giving her a new name, Dagger. All of that's meant to help her hide. Meanwhile, Queen Braun sends her superpowered military leader to retrieve the princess, that being a woman named Beatrix who beats the crap out of our heroes every time they meet up, mainly because she's a broken character who uses techniques that no one else has. The thing is, while Queen Braun thinks she's the mastermind behind her world domination plot, the person who gave her access to the weapons that she uses, as well as some mindless magic-wielding puppets, is the one really running the show, and that's a man named Kuja, who actually has a very close past relationship with Zidane, but Zidane can't remember it because there are things about his past that he just doesn't know. There's a lot more to Final Fantasy IX's story than just that, but that gives you the overall gist of the setup. Now, when it comes to Shadowbringers, Vauthry is Queen Braun down to the weird temper tantrums and the excessive thickness that they have. Ranjit is Beatrice, the nemesis-level pursuer of our heroes. The two very badly dressed clowns that he has underneath him are Zorn and Thorn, who just like in Final Fantasy IX, you get great satisfaction when you finally get the chance to finish them off. Thancred is obviously Zidane, and Reen plays the role of Princess Garnet, complete with her own journey of finding her own path, one that's fully realized after she changes her hair. And Kuja is of course the one who plays the role of the one and only Emmett Selk, who is, was, and shall forever be the greatest villain in Final Fantasy history. I had started to realize that there were parallels between Shadowbringers and Final Fantasy IX way back when you first go to Yulmore with Alphinaud and see those two badly dressed clown ladies handing out the Miole. The fact that they were clearly modeled off of Zorn and Thorn made me really start to think about the rest of Shadowbringers, and I noticed how much inspiration it took from Final Fantasy IX, which isn't a bad thing because Final Fantasy IX was a very, very good game. I did notice that some people don't actually like that one as much, which I'm curious to find out why. So if you're one of those people who didn't like Final Fantasy IX, let me know why in the comments. Anyway, that's it for this video. If you enjoyed it, hit the like button, comment, subscribe, ding that notification bell, and I'll see you all next time.